Welcome to Jay's Techie Crown. If you're watching my channel for the first time, please subscribe. Come, let's get into the video. In this video, I am going to respond to your questions which are posted on comment section on various categories which includes timeline, skill codes and different visa categories. So keep posting your questions on the comment sections and I would be happy to help you. Before I start this video, I want to talk about two recent updates. The first one is on the 2020 to 2021 migration program planning levels and second would be the Victoria visa nominations. Coming to the first one, the migration program planning levels, most of you might think, what is this? This is nothing but a design to achieve a range of economic and social outcome. This will be set annually to make sure that there is a ceiling value for every stream and category. For example, they might set like for 2021, let the employer sponsored be 21k and skilled independent be 6500. So they will set a ceiling value. And here is the skilled nominated ceiling value for 190 and 491 visa. These numbers shows the number of nomination allocations across different states, which includes all the occupations for 190 and for 491. And the highest allocation is for NSW for 190, which shows 3500, and for Victoria it shows 2500. Similarly, for 491 visa nomination, you can see the count is highest for NSW, which is 2800, and secondly in case of South Australia, which is 1850. The second update would be the Victoria's visa nomination program. The Victoria visa nomination program reopens at 10 AM on January 5th. So if you want to apply for Victoria, then please apply for Victoria visa nomination from Jan 5th. From the first update, you can see that the count of visa nominations for Victoria is 2500 for 190 and 1043 for 491 visa. The same can be found in the Victoria portal, which shows that the split up of the visa nominations count. Here you can see that the interim program, that is September 2020, had already 600 and the remaining 1900 would be on the 2021 program, which shows the count of 2500. And similarly for 491, you can see the split up of the same. Let's move on to the questions now. I will try to answer to most of your questions to the best of my knowledge with relevant data points and evidences as much as possible. Let's move on to the first question. So the first question is from a person, Venkat Ella. So let us see what his question is. He's asking that he has completed his bachelor in electrical engineering and working as a software tester in software industry. From which general body the person should do the skill assessment? So basically his answer is straightforward. He has to do his assessment with ACS. Irrespective of whatever your education is, based on your current work experience, you can go ahead with ACS. Let me try to show you with a few examples over here. And here you can see a assessment from ACS for a person who has completed his electrical engineering. Here you can see this person has completed his electrical and electronics engineering as well as masters in power system engineering, but still he has been positively assessed by ACS under software engineer category. So you can go ahead with your ACS assessment for software tester. Also note that there may be 4 years of direction in your work experience. And let us move on to the second question. The second question is from Megha and she is asking about what is the approximate timeline expected for SC309 and is there any other visa that can be processed? To answer to this question, I would say that the general processing time is 18 months for 75% of applications and 21 months for 91% of applications. Also, you can see that they clearly mentioned this site as of December 18th that there is a delay and it may take very longer time to finalize the applications. And to answer to your second question, yes, you can try subclass 600, but there are a lot of classes under that. One should know the case history of the person to recommend for that, because it generally gives a refusal for subclass 600. Moving on to the third question. The third question is from a person called Sureka and she is asking what are the chances for 189 and 190 with 90 and 95 points respectively for software engineering category. She has not mentioned whether she is an offshore or onshore applicant. Assuming she is an offshore applicant, I would say that for 189 she needs minimum 95 points to get invited within 2 to 3 months, and for 190 she should be an onshore applicant. If she applies as an onshore applicant with 95 points, then she would be receiving the pre-invite within 1 month of time. Here is an example of a recent timeline. Here you can see the timeline for visa type 190 for the state NSW, applied as developer programmer with 90 points as an onshore candidate. She has received NSW pre-invite on 5th March 2020 and received invitation after the pre-invite is approved on 12th March and lodged visa on 19th March and finally received grant by 5th December of 2020. Moving on to question number 4. The question number 4 is from Nathan. He is asking, what should I submit if I only have offer letter and relieving letter from my first employer? First thing, I am not clear whether he is asking at what stage of the application process he is asking for, whether it is for assessment or during the pre-invite or in the post-invite document upload process. In any of the cases, the relieving letter should be fine. And in most cases, if you don't have any of these documents, pay slips or the bank statements should be fine. Please refer to my other video on the document upload process. There I have clearly mentioned about the list of documents that are required during the post-invite process. Moving on to the 5th question, it is from Fatima and she is asking, 180 and 190 with 90 points on UI is still waiting for the invite, any chances? I already responded saying that I need the skill code to give more clarity on this. Assuming if she is from an IT stream with 90 points under 189, then she might get an invite within 6 to 8 months of time, and if she is assessed under Engineers Australia, then there are more chances to get invite within 5 to 8 months of time. Moving on to the 6th question. The 6th question is from Naman and he is asking, I gave my exam on 1st of December and I got overall 79 in all sections. My main concern is, will my report card is valid? Yes, as I said before, your report card is valid. There are changes made on the PTEN, but there are no updates from DHA. So there is no change as of now from DHA. You can submit your report and it's still valid. Moving on to the question number 7. The question number 7 is from Rishabh and he is asking, what should be filled in the country of residence? Either it should be India or Australia, as I am living in Australia for the past 2 years. Since you are living in Australia for more than 2 years, you can mention country of residence as Australia. But if you ask the question as what is the usual country of residence, then you can mention it as India. Here you can see that the usual country of residence is mentioned as India, but the person is living in a different country. So you can mention it as India if India is your usual country of residence. Thanks for watching. Please post your questions in the comment section. I will be happy to respond to them in the next video. Thanks again. Thanks for watching.